Hey guys, how you going? I'm back with another video today. This one is a little bit different. Today I'm going to be walking you through 7 things that you need to remove from your Google Ads account immediately. So usually I like to focus on things that you need to build up, things that you need to add, and things that you need to change in the account. This time I'm going to focus on a few things that I see waste people a lot of money in Google Ads. These are all super easy to change, to fix. So I think you will get an enormous amount of value out of this. This is going to save you a lot of money if you just follow these 7 simple items. It will absolutely be worth your time to go through and just check these off the list and make sure that you aren't suffering from any of these major drags on your spend and profitability in Google Ads. If you know who I am, my name is Max. I run Crakanthorp Digital, where we have generated millions of dollars for our clients using Google Ads. If you are interested in learning more about how I can help you run your Google Ads and make a lot more money with them, please feel free to book a call with me down below. Otherwise, I will get right into the content for you guys. So let's move my head over here today. All right, first of all, I'm going to walk you through the 7 things that we're going to talk about. So number 1 of the 7 cardinal sins of Google Ads that destroy account performance and squash your chances of profitable scaling, right? I cannot emphasize enough how much these things truly can destroy an account if you leave them to run unbridled and unaffected throughout the duration of your campaigns. So first of all, we have auto-apply recommendations. Next up, broken conversion actions, unbridled performance max campaigns, presence or interest location setting, the display and search network activation, AI-generated targeting, and AI-generated keyword targeting and ad copy. Overcomplicated account structure is the last one. So if you already know about all these things, feel free to skip ahead to the ones that interest you the most, but I think you'll definitely benefit from letting me walk you through each one at a time, because there's some details and some specific changes in each of these that are necessary to fully understand and make sure that you are generating as much as possible in your account. So first of all, auto-apply recommendations. This is a classic. I've seen this one flush thousands of dollars of ad spend down the drain. It's a setting which allows Google to make changes to your ads whenever they like without your permission or review. You can find this setting under campaigns, recommendations, and under auto apply just here. Now, it is extremely detrimental to a lot of accounts, right? If you allow Google to make changes whenever they want, as you can imagine, this often results in changes being made that are in Google's best interest, not yours. Google is a company that's trying to make as much money as they can. So what they want to do with your ads is make sure that they make a lot of money, not necessarily that you make a lot of money. So this often results in target ROAS changing, budgets changing, entire campaigns and targeting changing. They will change everything in there to try and get you to give them more money without necessarily increasing your results. And like I say here, most of the changes will consistently increase your spend without providing any meaningful return. I recommend to disable all auto-apply recommendations except for the one titled automatically show your best ads at auction time. If you want to just use that to rotate your ads automatically, that's completely fine. But all of the other ones, please disable them, as they're just going to drain your account and not give you any kind of positive impact at all. All right, next up, broken conversion actions. I talk about this like almost every video I think that I record. Conversion actions and conversion tracking is an incredibly important component of Google Ads. Absolutely fundamental, right? It's a scourge that exists across an extremely high proportion of Google Ads accounts. Over 90% of accounts that I look in do not have functional conversion tracking. They have some kind of issue in their conversion tracking that is preventing them from really maximizing their potential with Google Ads. Ultimately, conversion tracking is your only method of communicating your results and revenue with Google. So you need to make sure the communication is absolutely flawless to effectively maximize your results, right? Like I say here, conversion tracking is how you tell Google how much money you're making from their ads, right? If you can't report back to Google what's happening after people are clicking on your ads, then you are going to be missing out on a huge amount of data to inform the algorithms and inform your campaigns and make sure that you're really targeting the right people. So these are the biggest things to look out for with conversion tracking setups. First of all, you want to have a singular primary action for ecom. And you want to set it to purchase with all your other actions set as secondary, right? So you have one purchase conversion action that's set as primary, and that drives all of the optimization in your account. And then you maybe have a secondary backup option for your purchase and several other secondary actions in the account. Now, if you're running a lead gen account, you can have multiple primary actions as long as they are all revenue generating actions, right? So maybe a form submission, a Calendly booking, and a phone call could all be primary actions because they're all revenue generating and they're all the way that the lead comes through you. But in e-commerce, you really only need purchase to be a primary action. If you use anything else as a primary action, it's going to mess up your data completely. It's going to encourage Google to get the wrong things. If you set an add to cart event, for example, as a primary conversion, Google will try and optimize to get more add to carts, not necessarily more purchases, which is what you actually want, purchases, not add to carts. All right. Aside from that, you also need accurate tracking of purchase, add to cart, and begin track out events. So it's really helpful to track add to cart, not to optimize for it as a primary event, but as a secondary event, just to track it and monitor it, make sure that it is, it's reasonable. Begin checkout, make sure that those numbers are reasonable too. You can identify any potential drop-offs in the process. If you find that you have a really high add to cart rate and a really low purchase rate, indicates there may be some kind of problem with your cart and checkout process, something like that, right? So make sure you integrate these just for the sake of completion and just data reporting, analytics, and everything that helps you identify how you are performing. All right. Now, we also want to have backup events for your purchase conversion. So like I said, we want a main primary conversion that is reporting on all of our conversion events, but then we also want a secondary action which acts as a backup and allows us to register any potential difference between our primary event and our secondary event. Also, by the way, I apologize if I have low quality audio. I'm not exactly sure if I've recorded on the right device, but we'll see when this comes out in the end. Anyway, so we have the primary event running on a GTM setup, which I highly recommend, and then secondary running on a GA4 setup, right? Now, GA4 is known to underreport conversion data, so if you see a bit of a discrepancy between your main GTM tracking and your GA4 tracking, that's to be expected. GA4 should be lower. If GA4 is higher than your primary tracking method, there's probably something going wrong. So like I said, backup conversion events for purchase using GA4, and then your primary event setup with Google Tag Manager. Now, the Google Tag Manager setup can be a little bit complex. Fortunately for you guys, I will be releasing a video in the next couple of weeks showing you exactly how to set up your conversion tracking with a template guide included, so it'll be very helpful for you. And I look forward to releasing that very soon. So keep your eyes peeled if you're trying to set up your conversion tracking properly. Next up, unbridled PMAX campaigns. Now, this has only become an issue in recent times, but it really is taking a lot of accounts by storm. Google's new poster child campaign type PMAX, right? Performance max, in other words. When unrestricted, will always try and preserve Google's image, and as such will often acquire seemingly high performance on the campaign. So you may start a PMAX campaign in your account and it may seem to get really, really good results and a really high return on ad spend. However, this high performance is often an illusion and is usually a result of, in lead gen accounts, it's a result of low quality conversions. So often if you run a PMAX in a lead gen account, you'll find that the conversions which come through the PMAX campaign are much lower quality than your typical conversions and your typical customers. And then if you're in an e-com account, also in lead gen accounts, PMAX will often go after branded and remarketing traffic. So it'll go after people who already know about your brand, or people who are already very familiar with your brand and product, people who are searching for your brand even. And what this does is it inflates your ROAS because these customers are pretty much already sold on you. They're just literally going to your website to make a purchase. They already know about you. They just want to go there and finish their conversion, right? And Google is going to take this data and attribute it to the PMAX campaign. So the PMAX campaign looks really good, when in reality, this branded traffic should be going towards a branded specific campaign, which I discussed the setup of in one of my previous videos, which I'll mention also later. You need to make sure that your account is set up to direct branded traffic to a specific branded campaign to make sure that you are not attributing branded traffic in your PMAX campaigns. Now, it's important to keep in mind that these campaigns can be used to produce genuine high quality results, particularly when it comes to remarketing efforts, but these campaigns must be kept on a tight leash with significant restriction. So make sure that you aren't letting these campaigns run wild. Performance max campaigns need significant restriction to make sure they perform well, so keep them on a tight leash when you're running them. Biggest recommendation I can give you is just to exclude branded traffic from PMAX campaigns. Google has recently introduced the ability to add negative keywords to them, but it's still kind of easy to just upload a negative keyword list to Google using a form submission. So submit to Google your negative keywords for PMAX if you want to exclude that traffic. Next up, the presence or interest location setting. Now, this is a silent killer in many Google Ads accounts. I see this in, again, probably over 3/4 of accounts that I check in, probably over 80% of accounts that I audit and look over. It's a simple toggle feature that's hidden in the drop down for the location settings. So when you go into your campaign settings, go into locations, you have this location options drop down. Now, you're going to be automatically set to presence or interest. You do not want this. You want presence, right? When presence or interest option is selected, as it is automatically, Google will target anyone who shows even an interest in your targeted region. So as an example here, someone who lives in France, a French person, maybe planning a holiday to Australia, and if you are running ads targeting Australia with the presence or interest setting turned on, they will be showing your ads. So someone living in France who's showing an interest in Australia will be showing your ads if you have the presence or interest setting turned on while targeting Australia as a region. This is why it's absolutely terrible for accounts. We do not want to be targeting people in other countries. If I try to target our specific country, if you only sell a product in Australia and you're targeting ads in France, this is a complete waste of money, right? You always want to make sure that you're targeting the regions that you desire, right? So set it over to presence. And what this does, it will only include people who are regularly within your targeted region. So you're only getting people who typically only live in Australia. Maybe people who holiday there very, very frequently, but for the most part, just people who live there, right? And yeah, ensure you enable presence in all of your ad campaigns. There's very few exceptions to this rule. Sometimes maybe if you are a holiday planning company, right, and you're trying to target people who are just showing an interest in Australia, I guess you can, but it still wouldn't really work very well because you'd be showing it to a lot of Australians who probably aren't booking that as many holidays in Australia. So look, just for the most part, keep it to presence. That way you will just target the places that you want to target, right? Keep it present. All right, next up, display and search network activation, another silent killer. This one hides under the network section of your campaign settings rather. So again, in your search campaign settings, there's this tab called networks, and under networks, you have the search network and the display network. Now, when enabled, the search network and display network present your ads on infamously low quality placements. The search network is basically other sites and other search engines. So, a search engine within a website even. So maybe like a search engine on MSN.com, and it could present your results in there. These search engines have really, really low quality traffic. I've never seen a high conversion rate on search network results. I don't recommend using it at all. And then display network is when you're showing in listings on websites, like on the side and like a little box or a banner at the top or something like that. Again, if you want to run display ads, that's fine, but you need to run them in their own separate campaign. Running display ads just as a tick on your search campaign is never going to perform well, not a worthwhile setting. Only ever consider the search network if you have absolutely no more traffic you can possibly capture. You probably don't. You're probably not in a position. So for everyone watching this video, don't use the search network, don't use the display network. Always keep them unticked. They will automatically be ticked when you start it up. Always make sure you untick them. All right. AI-generated keyword targeting and ad copy. Now, this is a bit of a new one in Google. New introduction that regularly tricks people into taking the easy route and submitting to lower quality targeting and ad copy, right? You'll see this window appear when you are creating a new campaign, when you get to the point where you have to choose your targeting and also creative generation, right? So when you're choosing the keywords to target and the creatives to make, Google will give you this screen where you can input your URL and it will generate your targeting and your ads, right? Sounds great in theory, doesn't work well in practice at all. Once again, this feature is one that helps make Google more money, but not necessarily you. The AI-generated targeting is almost always too broad and targets irrelevant terms, while the AI-generated copy is simply slop and feature repetition without any true emotion, right? We both know that you know your business better than AI does. You can definitely write better copy and better targeting if you follow all the principles I've outlined in all my content ever. It's really, really simple to use the right keywords to target the right people and find the right audiences. You only need to write 3 to 5 keywords per ad group. Really, really simple. Ad copy takes a little longer, but again, you know what your customers respond to. You know what kind of emotions you need to try and elicit in your customer to get a purchase. If you just sit and repeat features, you're never going to get a good click-through rate, probably won't get good performance in your ads. So in summary, avoid the easy route of AI setups and complete these manually. So basically when you hit the skip button down there, you know your business and customers far better than AI does. That is for certain, right? Okay, next up, overcomplicated account structure. This is a common thorn in the side of Google Ads accounts, and especially when it comes to scaling. If you have an excessively complicated or excessively simple, in fact, account structure, you will never be able to scale, right? You need to have the right structure in your account in order to enable scale and enable you to find more new customers and scale up efficiently. So having hundreds of active campaigns in an account, yes, I have actually seen this before. I've seen campaigns with literally hundreds, over 100 active campaigns. It makes your task and Google's task much more difficult. Manual optimization is near impossible, and data fed to the algorithm becomes convoluted and sloppy, right? So if you have heaps and heaps of campaigns, throwing heaps and heaps of data into the algorithm, it's going to become more difficult for you to get high quality results from automated targeting than it would be with a more simple setup. And then manually, it's almost impossible to manually optimize that many campaigns unless you spend literally every hour of your day doing it. But if you're a business owner, I imagine you have much better things to do. If you want to see how to set up an account properly, just check out my recent video on campaign structure. So I believe I have a video, 1 or 2 videos back, called Best Google Ads Campaign Structure 2025. Just run through that one. I'll show you exactly how to set up your account. It will be very, very helpful for you, and will make sure that you do not have an overcomplicated account structure. So that is all for the 7 biggest issues I see in Google Ads. And please make sure you address these in your account, because if you do, it will stop you from losing thousands and thousands of dollars, and will help you make thousands more of additional dollars. And if you want my $15 million Google Ads account structure set up in your Google Ads account, done by me for a one-time payment, please book a call with me down below. I will set up everything in your account and monitor it for 30 days just for a one-time payment, so you can get everything set up exactly correctly. You know it'll work, you know it'll generate results, and if you want to take it over after it's all set up, you can, or if you want me to help you continue monitoring, that is also fine by me. But there is plenty of opportunity there for you to get a really high-quality account structure, all for a one-time payment. So that is all for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions for future content, any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments down below. I read all the comments. And that is all from me. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thank you.